ഇതിനോടകം തന്നെ ഡിസൈനിൽ കൂടെ we've seen different kind of stories, different kind of unique design stories. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ നിൽക്കുന്നത് is one such place. ഇതിൽ എന്തായിരിക്കും സ്പെഷ്യാലിറ്റി എന്ന് നമുക്ക് ഏകയോട് തന്നെ ചോദിച്ചറിയാം. We have AK joining with us to give you guys a brief on what exactly is this place.
Hi Aparna.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good, good. AK, we've seen a few of your projects already in the past couple of episodes. So before I ask about what exactly this project is all about, is there anything hidden in this project?
There won't be anything hidden. It's all in the open, you can say.
It's an open space. Okay. Yeah. What exactly is this place about?
As you can see, this is the office, the corporate headquarters for Deira Travels.
Alright.
They are a company that's about 23 years old, and they have about 10 to 15 outlets elsewhere in different parts of the UAE, spread out. This is a corporate headquarters where they will have meetings with their, the travel, meaning the flight companies, the airline companies and all that. So this is their meeting point.
Alright.
And because they have alliances with multiple airlines, hotel industries, anything to do with the travels and tours.
Okay.
So this is where they will come by to make the deals or the official purposes. This is not for an end user for say, I want to get a ticket or I want to see how it is as it travels, some packages, no. This is meant for say the corporate, the works.
Yeah, so I was actually about to ask that only. Normally when we say travel agents
it's not.
office,
it's
not the place where we walk in to get the tickets.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
It's not a retail or a like for the end user.
Okay.
This is where all the corporate deals
the meetings happen.
and then.
All right, okay. So we'll have a look around at the speciality of this place.
Let's have a look.
Sure. So I saw this mirror artifact and I found it very interesting. What exactly is the story about this?
I think for a travels office, this particular piece just summed it all up very well.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when we were finishing up the project, we needed some accessories, and this is something that the client found when he went around as well. So this kind of like sums up the entire project, you can say, and the services that this company has to offer.
All right, and what about the color patterns you've chosen for this particular?
As in every project of ours, we have certain neutral tones, and we always have these highlight walls, which we like to bring in. And this is something that we kind of shortlisted for this particular project. We wanted a upholstered, padded feel to the back, and when we were doing our research, we found a wallpaper. This is actually a wallpaper, very interesting wallpaper that we managed to import from Europe.
It's got all these protrusions.
It has all these. It is very natural looking, and as you can, the texture has also got this suede feel and upholstered. So instead of putting that padded background, we have a wallpaper which looks like that. So it was easier for the contractor to do.
And it looks quite nice.
This is the mini meeting room here. We have two meeting rooms in this office. One is basically if you have a smaller meeting, this will be done here. And then they have a bigger conference facility in the other side, which I'll show you later.
I think mini meeting room is also one of your specialities.
Yeah, we always manage to squeeze it in some of our projects.
Okay, all right, all right. Okay, so this is the
mini meeting room. And then what you see on the left is the workspace.
Okay.
We have two sets of workspaces here, workstations. One is the accounts department and the other is the sales.
Okay.
And as you can see, this is a bit more central to the entire layout. The sales is in the other corner.
All right, and so is this supposed to be the bigger meeting room compared to that?
In size, yeah, this is a little bigger.
Okay.
Maybe the number of seats is similar.
Okay.
because for sales they don't need such a bigger workspace, but here like the desks are a bit bigger.
Oh, okay. And I also see that there's a glass window sort of a thing to the...
It came from the client. They wanted that the GM can monitor from all sides.
Okay.
So he's placed centrally in this whole layout,
Okay.
and where he can have visible, like he can view to the other offices as well.
Okay.
So that's
there's
why
a transparency
so
as
there's,
well.
and not only that, it gives a bigger sense of space when there's more glass partitions.
Yeah.
You know, you feel that the space is bigger and quite spread out.
Okay, what exactly is the story behind this ceiling?
The idea was for the workstation spaces, that's the sales and this workstation and the mini meeting room. We wanted to give a bit more higher ceiling feel.
Okay.
The idea was to give a open ceiling,
Yeah.
but it's more of a formal office, so we don't want to give that kind of
Suspended
to see all the services. So we came across this kind of ceiling element. This is like there's another word, baffle ceiling, but this is not baffle.
Ceiling.
It is kind of like a baffle ceiling.
Okay.
But this is like aluminum frames, which is stuck onto channels.
Okay.
And you get these kind of the feel that you see here.
It has a semi-suspended feeling, but it's not exactly suspended.
It is suspended. It is a suspended
feeling,
but you can see
really
through them. You can see the inside of the services.
Yeah.
So it's like it gives that sense of openness. That
Okay.
you are having an open ceiling concept,
yeah.
but it's partially
But at the
closed
same
also.
time, okay.
So it's a semi-formal. You can.
I'll actually ask the MD if his concept about this place is also kind of like
Why
that.
not? He might give you a couple of words on that.
All right.
Now we've entered the managing director's room. As you can see, there's the biggest space in the whole office.
Okay.
And as you can also see that the design is a little bit different from the other areas.
Okay.
To keep in line with the position, this is done a little bit more luxurious.
Okay.
So you have the cove treatment, the back panel treatment. Then the kind of wallpapers, like the carpet used, everything is a grade higher.
Okay.
They, of course, to be in line with the position
with the
that
managing
he's on.
directors.
Yeah.
ഇവിടെ ഇപ്പോൾ ഉള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം AK യൂസ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത് more than the other one. He's used a high-end version of the front office itself.
True.
Is it? And what about the colors that I see over here? It's greys and again the neutral tones.
The same. The idea was to give it a little senior feel.
Okay.
So that's why we went for that kind of a wallpaper, which is a bit more luxurious.
Okay.
It's a higher grade, and again we've imported some of these. Feature wallpapers are a bit from the unique or the exclusive range.
This evidently imported the wallpapers.
It is somewhere from Europe. I don't know the exact country from it, but it is one of the higher range of wallpapers that we usually choose for our projects.
Okay.
The other thing in this particular room you can see is that we've given it a bit more residential feel also, not the typical cold corporate office feel. That's that is running throughout the office project. The idea is that it's a travels, tourism, it's more into hospitality, warmth and things like that. So we wanted to make sure we tried, the space has that feel, say the corporate feel, but the kind of furnishings we've used is something very residential, something you can see these lamps, regular kind of sofas, mixed colors of sofas. It's not the typical office chairs. You see that apart from the main managing director's chair, everything else is kind of like this.
It's not a very office kind of.
It's not an office kind of scenario.
That actually വളരെ correct ആണ് കാരണം ഇവിടെ വരുമ്പോൾ നമ്മളൊരു ഓഫീസിൽ കയറിയ ഫീലിംഗ് ഉണ്ട്. It's there, but at the same time the furnishings that he's used is all normal couches,
Normal,
like
normal kind of residential furniture.
Couches and everything. Okay.
And it also sobers down the space.
Yeah.
I think even
it's
the client.
More welcoming.
It's more welcoming. So again, true to the spirit of the travels, tourism, to make it more like casual, warm. Nowadays, all these corporate offices have this very cold feel, which we wanted to break away from.
Okay.
So this is what we've managed to do here. And like I said earlier, pretty much the space has it, but the furnishings have made it more softer.
I noticed very two unique kind of paintings. You know, it's actually two of my favorite landmarks, Eiffel Tower and Big Ben. But there's like a nice jute rope. You know,
yeah, it gave more of a, when we went around looking for these accessories, it's usually the last exercise that we do. You usually do it for houses, but in this case we took the effort for an office as well, because that's what gives that sense of warmth to the space. When we went around, we wanted to keep something with the travel, tourism in mind. So what are the biggest landmarks you see? Like you said,
the Eiffel Tower
and Big Ben. We, a coincidence has it that we found something similar. And we wanted something in a long proportion because this wall is long.
Oh, okay.
And luckily that even the colors, everything that went around matched with the theme that we were working on.
So are you telling, like, this is just for our viewers, if you are having a long wall or something, would you suggest long paintings?
It would make more sense to give it a sense of scale according to that wall.
Or a long painting, rather than just keeping it
definitely. Otherwise, if you had something short,
that much space would be empty.
Now this whole wall is filled up. You don't need anything else. That also leads from the corridor. It gives a focal point to this.
Okay, but it's very interesting. It
was a beautiful piece, so we didn't even think twice, and we just immediately got it.
So one of the other things which I noticed over here was this airplane miniatures. I'm basically a big fan of miniature models. So what was the whole idea of having this kind of a concept?
I remember the client when we first met and we had our initial discussions. One of the things he mentioned was they have a lot of these models because they're a travel company that deals with over 150 airlines.
Alright. Oh wow.
So each of them will have their own set of miniature models that they would like to have it displayed in the new office. So they wanted it like maximized, where all possible we need to put it as much. Of course we couldn't do the 150 because then we would be filled. But so we've found an interesting way of creating this partition, which became also a sense of like a display. So
again, like the multifunction.
So and the good thing is that you don't feel it's closed. You're not closing off you can see through to the workspace. At the same time, it's a space for storing these miniature models, you can say.
Okay, so you would basically, a different kind of version in Flora also you had implemented, having a display unit which you could.
That's right, yeah. So it again, like I said, rather than having this very typical monotonous partition, glass, we thought, okay, let's introduce.
To make it.
And this is like based on a client's input also. They had a requirement. Now we had to figure out how we'll practically implement it. So we came across certain ideas, and this was one of the things that worked best. Another thing that the client wanted was, like I mentioned earlier, they don't want the space to look closed. So it's a person coming in feels that this is a much bigger office. If you decide to close off these partitions with say opaque partitions, you won't feel how big the space is. Then the other thing was monitoring. The GM should be able to monitor the whole office sitting there. So he was more centrally placed, and also now he's able to look through these partitions to see the teams, whether it's sales or accounts on the other side.
So he can monitor the activities.
He can monitor the activities
as well. Alright, that's very interesting.
We've reached the end of the corridor. This is basically the section which is leading to the MD's room and the director's room. So we're getting a bigger space here. Rather, they wanted something like a VIP waiting area, the whole concept, so that maybe somebody who's coming to meet the MD, some important person. If there's a meeting going on inside, there's a small space to just sit for a bit.
For them to wait, basically.
So this is called the VIP lounge per se, because that's the extra space we got from all this. So that's why, as you can see, the setting is also such where it's like an armchair, like a hotel, you see in these hotels. There's a little bit of the luxury feel.
Is there any story behind this mirror?
Because they say that some of the people, it was actually bought off just as a random piece to fill up the walls, but then it kind of linked with the whole idea of a ship where they have these kind of convex.
So it kind of gelled with the travel concept.
It gelled with the travel concept. So that's how in short. But other than that, basically this is like that. small VIP section. We are now in the main conference room. Like I mentioned to you earlier, this office has two meeting rooms. One is the mini meeting room and the other one is the conference
room. Okay.
So, they needed at least 12 to 14 because they have several of these outlets, 14 to 15 outlets. So what has happened that they might have their managers coming in once in a while. So they needed a conference room that can accommodate all these many number of people at one time. So the whole idea was to have a very large conference. And as you can see from the proportions, either a long conference, long space. So what we wanted to break away by adding these mirrors to give a little bit more depth.
Okay, all right.
Typical,
so it kind of
abnormally long space, you'll feel a little difficult. So we added these mirrors, so it gave a little bit more depth. And the good thing is that it also reflects the buildings outside. It just creates a lot more dynamism to the space. And as you can see, reactive
rather than a dead conference room.
Exactly. So that was one thing that we did in this space.
So, okay, what I noticed over here was these kind of bricks, again protrusions, play of shapes. What was the story behind this?
As I mentioned to you earlier at the entrance, that the client had a lot of these miniature models that they needed to place. And in the conference room, this is the focal point. This is where the attention comes. So we wanted to play with something interesting. This was initially meant to be a space to stack up the airplane models. But unfortunately, because the beauty of it was by itself so nice, we didn't feel that it would make sense to put something and kill it. So we just left it as it is. It was supposed to be a display unit for these models, the miniature models. But like as you can see, it also, because of the mirror effect, it creates a bigger spatial feel than actually it is. It is only till here. But when you look at it from far, it looks a lot bigger. Then, so that's what I said. And then as you can see, the colors that is there in these pieces are relating to the different colors in the other areas that we've used.
Okay, so you just carried over the colors and everything. And what about these panels over here, these backlit panels?
If you noticed it at the entrance, the reception, the backside panel is this element. And to link the conference to the reception, we've created this same pattern. We repeated the same pattern.
Geometric pattern.
The geometric pattern. This is also carried over into the MD room, but in a different color. So this is kind of like that linking theme. That there's always that theme that needs to be linked in a project. So this is that element or the geometric pattern that we kind of carried over
from the
reception to the conference to the
MD's
room and all that.
Very interesting.
And the size of it was based on the size of the TV. Nowadays people don't go for projectors. Earlier, Mumballam, it was always a practice conference room with a drop-down projector. But it was a lot of technical complications. Now with the onset of technology and bigger size TVs, it makes more sense for a large conference to have a large size TV, which is connected and technologically also more advanced. So that's how it is. So yes, this conference plays a major role because this is one thing that will be used quite a lot for all the bigger meetings and seminars that they will hold as a group.
it is called the central room of this entire office space. What exactly is special about this room?
This is the general manager's room.
Okay.
From the client side, there was a brief that from this office, you should be able to view the entire operations.
Okay.
So on the left side, you see is the accounts department. From here, you can actually have a look through and see that if people are coming or some reception, and even for the visitors can be monitored from here. Then this particular window overlooks the conference, and this other one overlooks the sales workstation. So this is like the central room
that
controls entire the operation.
So this is the central part of the entire.
Yeah. In the layout, everything he was placed centrally so that this kind of monitoring can happen.
Okay, all right.
So that has been achieved quite well, I guess.
Yeah, because it's very interesting.
I don't think anybody will miss out that if they're not working.
Yeah, you're not able to do anything else apart from work.
Exactly.
It's nice. We have Mr. Fardan Hanif, who is the director of this company with us today. What was his vision of how this place should have looked like? Hi Fardan.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And first of all, this place looks amazing.
Thank you so much.
It actually looks like how it would have stepped out from a book, interior design. You know, what was your whole idea when you wanted this project to be done?
The thing is, we predominantly a retail business handle in the agency. Deira Travel is an agency who is predominantly into retailing. We have 13 outlets. Retail customers in a convenience ground floor level.
Okay, and is this company?
23 years.
And the 23 years item is office?
We in Dubai actually. We started off in Dubai. Deira started. Then we had branches across Sharjah, Ajman, Abu Dhabi, and various points in Dubai. This is actually our own space. So when we decided on buying this, we had designer. So AK Designo projects. So then we decided to proceed to proceed then Abdullah to meet you. And he had given us what we done is we've finalized on the floor plan first. Requirements floor plan ready. എന്നിട്ട് ഇതിന്റെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ള ഞങ്ങളെ തീം എങ്ങനെ വേണമെന്നുള്ളതിന് ഒന്നുകൂടി നന്നായിട്ട് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രിഫർ ചെയ്യുന്ന കുറച്ച് ഇമേജസ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു.
Okay, like reference images. Okay.
Yeah. So we gave him those images and then he started designing and he submitted a 3D based on that 3D image. And adinishesham we were very confident with the way he would carry out his work and everything. എന്നിട്ട് സ്റ്റെപ്പ് ബൈ സ്റ്റെപ്പ് ഞങ്ങൾ പ്രോസസ്സ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തു. ദെൻ ഓരോ ദിവസം ചെല്ലുന്തോറും ഞങ്ങൾ ഇങ്ങനെ വരുന്നത് കാണുമ്പോഴൊക്കെ ഞങ്ങൾ we were to be very frank, we were amazed and really happy by the way it turned out, because സാധാരണ ഞങ്ങൾ വേറെ വീടിൻ്റെയും എല്ലാം ആവശ്യങ്ങൾക്കായിട്ട് 3D കാണുന്നതും പിന്നെ അത് project actually in reality കാണുമ്പോൾ വ്യത്യാസം ഉണ്ടാവാറുണ്ട്.
Yeah, that's what I said. It actually looks like it's a project.
I think I shouldn't be saying this, but I think it's better than what it looked in 3D.
In the 3D. Oh, yeah. That's very good.
He's done an amazing job. Yeah.
Anyways, Fardan, it was lovely talking to you, and again, it's a beautiful project. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for allowing us to come and have a look at all this work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. An office space in the Parayambo, it has to be well designed in such a way that it brings out our maximum potential and creativity. Only then we'll start falling in love with our job. Angantiru thought vechitana AK and the director has designed this area so beautifully that it actually makes one fall in love with the kind of work that they're doing. Ingante more innovative and effective design ideas. I'll be catching you guys next week. Till then, it's me, Aparna. Take care, bye bye, and peace out.